What is going on, everybody out there in the YouTube trucking community? Sean Cahalan, Christian Brother Trucker, coming at you again with another video today. And today we're going to cover a couple of different topics. This is going to be a multi-topic video because I have awesome viewers out there, and some of you subscribers have given me a couple of different ideas on topics that you would like me to cover. One of those ideas was to talk about how to get your CDL and maybe ways to get your CDL without having to go through without going through a trucking company. So I'm going to talk about that. And then another one of my viewers / co-workers here at Doug Andrews asked me to do one on truck driver etiquette, which is a pretty deep topic as well. And then just give you guys some random thoughts that I've had as a little bonus, because my little videos like to come with charged up opinions and things like that, you know, because that's what keeps it lively. So let's talk about ways to get your CDL without having to go through a company. This used to be a lot easier a few years back, before the FMCSA had changed the rule on the requirement to go through a training institution in order to get your CDL. So years ago, you used to just be able to go down to the DMV, get the study manual, go home, read the study manual, and if you worked for a company that had equipment, like trucks and trailers and stuff like that, you can drive their equipment and basically borrow their equipment to have a tester come out and do the skills portion of the test. There are two portions to your CDL exams. The first one is your knowledge portion. That covers basic rules, laws, and it's just a knowledge test on what's in the manual as far as just general knowledge. And that's, I don't know how many questions it is, but you can go down and pass that. It's done on a computer, and it's just multiple choice questions. And then you pass that, and you can get your learner's permit. It's still broken up that way. I know that you can go down and take your knowledge portion of the test and get your learner's permit. Where they changed the law recently is where you used to be able to do self-study and operate a motor vehicle with just the learner's permit. Now there's a new law that says that you have to go through an accredited school. So I don't know if this is fully implemented across the board in all states. I'm pretty sure that it is, but there are different ways that you can go about getting your CDL without having to go through a company. But basically it works a little something like this. There are certain colleges that have, like community colleges, that will do truck driver training. And then there's also other accredited schools that you can go to, like Sage Technical School. You know, there's all kinds of different truck driver schools out there, and they will charge you, you know, different amounts of money. I'm not sure exactly how much they all charge. It can be anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 depending on what school you go to. If you decide to go to a company, you can go through like one of the big mega fleets and go from, you know, not having a CDL at all, go through their training, and then sign a contract to haul for them exclusively so that they will waive the charge. So basically, if you go through their school and you drive for them for up to a year, they will waive, I think it's like $5,000 or $10,000 fee if you stay on with them for up to a year. Most of your other schools will charge you somewhere between, like I said, I want to say right around $5,000, somewhere right in there, to acquire your CDL. A lot of companies will do what's called tuition reimbursement, where if you go to a school and you're doing a repayment plan, whatever the case may be, the company will reimburse you on each check X amount of money that will go towards you being able to pay off your, basically your student debt for the education that you got to get your CDL. Like I said, the big difference, like what I did is I was working for a construction company, and the construction company had all kinds of different equipment, and so I was able to practice with their equipment on the yard and basically learn how to drive medium-sized trucks. And so when I took the test in a very small dump truck, single axle dump truck with an automatic transmission, pulling a 25-foot trailer. And so to pass the test was fairly easy for me. But I had to do the on-road test, the walk around, and then the backing test. And a tester had come out to the terminal in which I was working out of, and he did the testing on site. Most of the time now, you have to go through an accredited school in order to do the hands-on application portion of the test. So in order to be trained how to pass the driving test, you have to go through an accredited school now. There's different ways of getting the financing that you need. You will need to call the different trucking schools in your area, and like I said, there's community colleges will have a program. You can go through truck driving academies, truck driving schools in your area, or you can call up a mega fleet, Night Transportation, Swift Transportation, enter mega fleet name here, and it will either be a truck driving school that is ran by that carrier, or it will be somebody that they will refer you to that program in your area to do that portion. And if they have contracts with the carrier, if they refer you over, basically what'll happen is you'll sign a thing that'll say that you'll repay them, $5,000-$10,000, and that you have X amount of time to pay this off. So that's one way of doing it. If you do it that way, just know that if you sign up and go to work for a company and you quit, you're going to be left with a bill of an unpaid balance of $5,000 or $10,000 that you're going to have to pay off, and then they'll come after you and they'll want to collect their money. So you can also apply for loans and grants. If you're going to go through a college, you might be able to get some kind of financial aid. You might qualify for some kind of grants or anything like that through your state, depending on your income level. So if you want to find out more information on stuff like that, you can go through, you can call up the Department of Labor. I think it's the Department of Labor. But there should be different programs in your state where you can get more information on how to get grants and loans. And then you can also call up your community colleges and see if there's any CDL truck driver training available with them, and they can also help you apply for grants or loans. Some are provided by different institutions like the Department of Agriculture. I know Idaho has one where you can apply through the state to get a Department of Agriculture grant. And I think you have to go through a particular school, but I'm not sure. But it is an excellent way to go if you can go and get some kind of help from the Department of Agriculture through the state or something like that. So you just really got to do some homework and kind of see what kind of different available options you may have. So call around, ask questions, talk to different companies. I've always said that if you want to get information, start calling people up, start picking people's brains, because this is all going to be largely dependent on where you live and what's available in your local area. All right, so let's talk about truck driver etiquette. So us truck drivers are a rare breed. You know, we live in our trucks, and some of us have our butts shoved up, our head shoved up our butts so far that we can't see past our own eyeballs, right? Okay. So, I have a coworker slash friend that I met when I came over here to Doug Andrews Transportation, and he asked me to do a video on truck driver etiquette. Now, it's a very deep subject, and I could go on and on and on and on and on about this, but let's keep it simple. What he was complaining about is truck drivers pulling in the truck stops at the fuel island and taking their 30-minute break with, plugging up the fuel island and having trucks parked behind him and things like that. So, some things to keep an eye out for, or some things to keep in mind when you're out here, if you're a truck driver, is act like a conscientious human being. Okay, you got to know that what you're doing affects other people, and if you're being rude, you're disrupting other people's lives. So, this may include when you pull up to a fuel island and there's somebody fueling, and you pull up behind the truck that is fueling. You decide, I'm going to run inside and go do all kinds of shopping. I'm going to go to McDonald's. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you don't pull your truck up to fuel it up so that you can pull up to the I'm done fueling line, so that you can go inside and do what you need to do after that. Now, if you pull up to the pump and you've got to go to the bathroom really bad and you got to run inside, use the bathroom, I get it. But come back to your truck and you're in the queue line waiting for the fuel. This isn't your time to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. I'm going to go ahead and go inside for 15, 20 minutes, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Keep in mind that, there's people behind you, and when the truck fuel station is full, you're going to have queue lines that are going to go all the way out to the street. So if you don't pull your truck up, you're taking up space. If you do need to do something extended, keep in mind that if you're trying to pull off a 30-minute break, you can do that as long as the truck stop's not full and it's not busy, and you pull up and you're waiting behind a truck, and by the time you get up to fuel, you've been sitting there for 15 minutes. You get done fueling, you pull up to the stop line, and you can watch the guy in your mirror if you're trying to do a break. It's going to take him about 10 minutes to fuel, 15 minutes to fuel. And if you've only got 5 minutes to go, you can go talk to the other driver and let him know that, hey, I'm trying to pull off a 30-minute break here. Are you okay to give me an extra 5 minutes? Just keep an eye out and be conscientious about other people. I very rarely will try to do a 30-minute break at the fuel island. I have been able to do it before, but like I said, that's usually because the long waiting times. If you're two trucks back and you got to wait for the trucks in front of you to fuel, by the time you get up there to fuel, your 30-minute break is already done. But if there's no line, you pull up to fuel and then you pull up to the stop line and you're trying to pull off a 30-minute break, you have other options. You can put it into PC. You can put in the notes that you're looking for safe parking, and go find a parking spot to pull into while you do the rest of your break. Get off the fuel line, because you're holding people up. Other people have places to go. Other people are trying to stay on track with their load times. If you're putting people out, you're putting people out. Some of the other things that I'm going to talk about here are the gross factor. Okay? Pouring your piss bottles out in the parking lot. Pissing in the parking lot behind your trailer. Just stuff like that. Throwing your pee bottles out behind your trailers instead of taking it to the trash can. Now, I have my trash can right there. Okay? That trash can is a pretty large trash can. I use pee bottles. Yes, I do. And when I'm done with my pee bottles, I throw them in the trash can. And then I take that bag of trash and I take it to the trash can. I don't dump it out behind my truck. I don't throw my piss bottles out of my door. I don't throw them out the window. I don't leave them on the side of the road. I don't leave them on ramps. I don't do any of that stuff. If I'm eating, I don't throw my trash out my driver's side window. Y'all, you need to knock it off. It's disgusting. It's gross. And I won't even go into the ultra gross details of people doing other stuff, number 2 in a bag, throwing it out the door, throwing it behind the truck. If you've got to go, number 2, walk your happy ass to a toilet. And if you do a number 2 in your trash can, throw your bag away and throw it in the trash. I mean, let's think about this for a minute. When you have a baby and you're changing the baby's diapers, what do you do with the diapers? You throw them in the trash. And then where do they go from there? Oh, that's right. They go to the trash can. Or they go out to the big trash can out to the street. And then the trash guy comes around and picks it up and takes it to the dump. That's where your trash needs to go. Pee jugs, poop, trash, whatever else, whatever the case may be. Dude, I have stopped at some of these truck stops and I have walked behind my trailer and it's like a dump. It's like, what are we doing? Most of these truck stops have trash cans galore all over the place. But drivers are so lazy that y'all can't even plan ahead to make sure that you're not dumping your human waste all over the parking lot. I understand I have to go pee, but pee in a bottle, at least. Anyway, just think about it, man. It's disgusting. Plan ahead. I do. I have like 1 big gallon jug that I use, and then I have other little bottles that I use, and when I dump mine out, I go into the woods, or I go off into the grass, somewhere where there's dirt, so that when I pour it out, it's going into the ground. It's not going on the asphalt, where it's going to stink like an outhouse. It's pretty embarrassing when I bring my wife and kids out with me, and it's a hot, muggy day, and I pull into a truck stop, and it smells like an outhouse. Well, why does it smell like an outhouse? Well, because the drivers pull up to the truck stops and pull up to the fuel line, open their door, and dump their pee jugs out. I've literally watched people do it. Y'all are disgusting. And I'll tell you, there's some of us out here that are sick and tired of it, and there's some of us out here that will take a picture of you doing that and will call your company and tell them what you're doing. Because it's gross. Okay? If you're going to pour a pee jug out, go find some grass. Go find a tree to water. Something, but don't do it in a parking lot. The pee's got nowhere to go. It's going to sit there on that asphalt, and then it's going to get nasty, and it's going to stink. So, clean it up, folks. Come on. As far as parking is concerned, if you guys run your clocks a little bit more effectively, you don't have to be parking like a joker in the middle of the travel lanes in these truck stops and rest areas. But I get it, we've all had to look for truck parking in the middle of the night when everything's full. But if you're going to be plugging up a travel lane, when you park your truck, get out and look at your parking job. Walk behind your trailer, look behind you, make sure you're not plugging up a travel lane, and look around your truck and ask yourself, can a truck get by me without hitting me? If not, you're going to get woke up by pounding on your door. I've done it to people, and I will do it to you too. If you're not aware, I've had people knock on my door because I didn't pull up enough and my trailer was blocking the travel lane. And I've had to wake people up that were blocking me in because I'm ready to go and you're in my way and I can't get out. So when you park, look around you. You know, you should be able to kind of ascertain whether or not other drivers have enough room to get out around you or not. And, you know, on top of that, you're also running a risk of somebody hitting you if you park in a weird spot anyway. So, if you got to get creative with parking, just know that you're taking a risk. And if you get hit, you can't blame anybody else but yourself. So, that's a little bit of basic truck etiquette. The other things I'll add is that when you're in a trucking lot and you're looking for parking and somebody's trying to back in, just stop and wait, let them back in before you start honking your horn. Don't honk your horn in the truck stops. Don't be that guy. Don't go through the truck stops at 20 miles an hour, you know, all that fun stuff. So that's that. Give you guys an update. 2 months into working for Doug Andrews, and I'm still loving it. No complaints whatsoever. I did a run from Twin Falls over here to Ochalata, Kansas, or something like that. Just outside of Tulsa. No, Oklahoma. That's right, I'm in Oklahoma. So, waiting for a reload. I'm not sure if I will get one today or maybe tomorrow, but waiting on a reload. Paychecks are steady. Got no complaints. Yeah, so just still loving my job. That's always good, right? Let's see. Update on Jesse. Jesse got into his new truck. Had a couple of minor little issues, but he's getting things worked out, and I think he's putting some miles down in his brand new Kenworth. I think he's enjoying that truck so far. He had these weird transmission lights come up on his transmission on his tractor, and he said that they just went away. Phantom check engine lights, you know. I guess it happens. My truck, I think my truck's a 2020 Peterbilt 579, and it does this forced regen where it'll throw on a DPF light and it'll say parked regen needed. If you don't do this, then it'll derate. So I've had to do that a couple of times. I've had to find an exit, get off the road, let it do a parked regen. That's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I'd rather have that than have some of the issues with these sensors and stuff go out, you know. But I don't know. I don't have any complaints. I got most of the bugs worked out of the truck, so hopefully we'll keep on trucking. That's about all I've got. So just kind of a recap on the whole CDL thing. You have to go through a school. It's now a requirement that was passed, a new law that says that you have to go through an accredited truck driving school in order to get your CDL. You still have options. You don't have to go through a company. You can go and pay for it out of pocket. You can get grants. You can get loans. Personal loans will work, and things like that. So you can come in as a new CDL entrant, and you don't have to go to work for the mega fleets if you don't want to go to work for the mega fleets. And if you look into local, regional, or OTR, most of these companies will have a program that will help you get your CDL. And, you know, most of these CDL programs are designed for you to succeed. So there's nothing really wrong with, you know, going with a company-sponsored training program. The new law that they passed was basically to keep people from just coming in and barely passing the test and then being put behind the wheel when they're inexperienced and unqualified. So I happen to agree with that quite a bit. I went that route where I did as little as possible to get my CDL, and I was unqualified to be out on the road, and I ran into quite a few problems because I wasn't trained properly. So I happen to have firsthand experience of what happens when you're not trained properly and you get set out on the road with your own truck. Let's see what goes wrong first, right? And then truck driver etiquette. You know, take your trash out, throw your trash away in the trash cans, in the dumpsters. Act like a basic human being, you know? I mean, just clean it up out here. It's kind of gross. And don't take your brakes at the fuel island. Don't plug up the fuel island. Once you're done fueling up, pull up. And when you're done, run inside, come back out. You need to leave so that the guy behind you can pull up. You know, we all got to go. And we all have stuff to do. So don't be that guy. All right, so that's all I've got. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and share. And as always, God bless you all, and thanks for watching.